Hey guys, it's Jeremy again. I am back for another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a different video that I don't do very much, but this is going to be a series review, and the series that I will be reviewing for you guys today will be the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare, which is a prequel series to her Mortal Instruments series, but it's not really much of a prequel series, but it's more of a companion series to the Mortal Instruments in that sense, because it's very different from Mortal Instruments. But anyway, the books are Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. I won't go through each book and telling you guys what the plot lines are. I'm roughly just going to go through the books and kind of tell you a little bit about what happens and that things. The first book, like I said, is Clockwork Angel, and we are introduced to Tessa Gray, who is she is I believe she's about 16 years old, and she is leaving. She's getting off of the boat from America to England to meet her brother when basically everything changes. From there, she is pulled into a world that she never in a million years ever thought existed, and it is the world of the Shadow Hunters, and she actually finds out from the Dark Sisters that she is in fact a Downworlder, which basically is there's Downworlders such as fairies, warlocks, vampires, werewolves, and things like that. So she doesn't know exactly what kind of Downworlder she is. But as you read the series, you do find out a lot more about her as you read all the books, and you find things more about it. And so she is kidnapped by the Dark Sisters, which is Mrs. Dark and Mrs. Black, and they are very filthy, disgusting women. They're just not good. They're not good. They're not people that you would want to spend time with. They're warlocks, and they work for the Magister, which is basically the guy that wants Tessa and use her power for his own endeavors. And things get a little bit more interesting when she's rescued by Will Herondale, who is a young shadow hunter of the London Institute. And basically he rescues her and he takes her back to the Institute. And things kind of change, and she meets Charlotte, who is the head of the London Institute. She meets characters such as Charlotte, Henry, Jasmine, Sophie, Akathine, and Thomas are the kind of broad of characters who live within the Institute, as well as Jem Carstairs, who's another one of our main characters in this story. And basically they're finding out who the Magister is, why he is after the Shadowhunters, what deed was done that was so evil that made him hate the Shadowhunters so much, and why he wanted Tessa to begin with. We meet a very broad, very different characters in this world, in this series, such as Will. Will is very sarcastic, he's very rude, he's very kind of jerkish to Tessa. But then again, he keeps everybody at a very safe distance. He doesn't really let anybody in. He's kind of very, he's rude, and he's a very complicated character, which I love. He's one of those characters that I grew to love. As you read it, I loved him from the first moment he showed up in the book, and I loved reading all of his parts in the series. And this is actually Will on the cover, which is really beautiful. I just love this cover. It's really pretty. But basically, what this book kind of we come across in this story, where our trio are attacked by clockwork creatures, which are clockwork. And some people have told me this is more of a steampunk kind of series, so this is about steampunk, I guess. But what really things is when the London Institute is attacked by these clockwork creatures, and things are put to the test. Characters are sacrificed for the protection of the Institute, because for somehow they were able to breach the gates of the Institute, which no creature, demon, or supernatural has ever been able to breach the safety gate of the Institute, but somehow they have, and twists are discovered, and lives are lost, and it is very epic and very price-worthy. We realize that Tessa, in fact, does have feelings for not just Will, but as well as Jem. She doesn't want to have these feelings for these two people, but she realizes that she can't help it. It says in the inside synopsis, it says that she doesn't want to love them, and she has to do a fate, whether trying to find her brother and try to find where he is, or help her new friends help save the world. And it's a very worthy price that she chooses. She chooses that sometimes family's not always the most important thing in the world, that the world is worth saving a little bit more. So it was a pretty strong choice that she made in this book, and I respected her for it. I really do appreciate the way Tessa views things. She doesn't overanalyze things like Clary does a lot, but she knows what she wants. She knows that the decisions that she's making are the right choices, and she does them to the extent. And I really respected a lot of the choices that she made in this book, as well as the whole entire series. But basically, that's me telling you everything without spoiling everything. The second book of the trilogy, or the series, whatever you want to call it, is Clockwork Prince, and this is Jem Carstairs on the cover, which is just beautiful. This book picks up next to, I want to say either a few days or, in fact, a week after the end of Clockwork Angel. And basically, everybody in this book, there's something going on every, turn. Because from the events of Clockwork Angel left everybody in the Institute is a frenzy, because now Charlotte is on the verge of being dismissed as head of the Institute because of the events that happened in Clockwork Angel, where the London Institute was attacked by the clockwork creatures that the Magister, or aka Mortimain, is responsible for. And so they have to find him within a span of 2 weeks, which basically puts everybody in the Institute in crazy frenzy mode, basically, because they have to find him within 2 weeks, or Tessa will be out on the streets for the Magister to be able to take her for, because he wants Tessa for some dark purpose that we don't really know of yet. And so it's just, you just keep reading and reading. I think I love this series a lot more than the Mortal Instrument series, just because the characters are more fleshed out, I feel like, and there's not as many characters in this series as with Mortal Instruments, and it is just so good. Each chapter almost ends with a cliffhanger, which you just want to keep reading and reading and reading until you get your answer. And it's so good. It's so good. I love the way Cassandra Clare writes these stories, these Shadowhunter books. They're so well written, and I feel like the twists in this series are far more flabbergasting than the ones of the City of Bones series. So, but basically, they have 2 weeks to do it, and things kind of turn up differently when Will, because they travel to Yorkshire, which they are hoping to find some details that consist of the Magister and what he is planning, or where he is. So they travel there to the Stockweathers Institute in York, and it really puts everything into place. The secrets that they discover there is more shocking. We even got a little glimpse of Cecilia, which is Will's sister, and that puts everything into place. Will definitely grew up a lot. We finally realize why Will is the way he is, what deed or what thing that happened to him in his life has turned him the way he is, and why he keeps everybody at a very safe distance. He definitely grew on me in a lot in this book. I understood why he did the things that he did, and it was such a gripping story. And when the truth is revealed about Will, it really puts everything, and I mean everything about his character into position, and it was an unimaginable story, and a very sad story as well. But overall, we have a couple, most Cassandra Clare books, almost she's I really respected her not to sugarcoat death in this book, which Cassandra Clare never does. She doesn't gloss over death like it's nothing. When a character dies, it's normally for a very specific reason, and it's really sad to say goodbye to characters you've really grown to love and adore. Some of them are, a bit more crucial than others, but the people that die in this book was very sad to say goodbye to them, but it was part of the plot. So I can't really say a whole lot about this book without ruining everything. I don't want to ruin it, but basically the book, there's some characters changing, such as Jem. Jem has this horrible sickness that he's had to live with for the past 5 years, and it's heartbreaking because he's gonna die one day, and he has to use this drug to keep him alive. There was a lot of testing in this book, a lot of running around, and a lot of worrying that how long is Jem gonna have, and it's really sad. It's really, really sad because he may only have a year or a couple of months left to live because he can't live on this drug forever. It's gonna eventually run out and he's gonna die, and it's heartbreaking. This book had so many emotions, so many tears, so many unexpected revelations. I just loved this book. It's definitely one of my favorites of the series. And then the last book in the conclusion to the series is Clockwork Princess. And I would try best to my ability to go over this book without giving a lot of spoilers, since I know this is one of her newer books. This book's only been out for a year, with the other ones have been out for several years. This one came out on March 19th of last year, so it's been out a little more than a year now. But this is by far my favorite book of the entire series. It is also the biggest book of the three. It's really big. It's over 500 pages. This is as well as my favorite cover. This is with Tessa on it, and it's so pretty. But basically, what goes down in this book is the beginning starts with something, because I can't say it because I don't want to spoil it, but if you guys have read the Clockwork Prince ending, you'll know what I mean. We have a new character who came into the mix, which is Cecilia, which is Will's sister, which is really awesome. I love that we got a new character, because with a lot of Cassandra Clare's books, we don't often get new characters. She crams in about a good collection of a lot of characters. I think it's around 6 or 7 characters, and normally in most of our books we don't get a lot of new characters, but we did get a new character. I loved reading about Cecilia in this book. She's definitely one of my favorite female characters in this story, besides Jasmine and Charlotte and Tessa. She's really strong. She puts her point out there, and she abides by it. She loves Will, but I think she's still angry at him for leaving. And if you've read Clockwork Prince, you know why he left. You know why he is the way he is, and it's awesome. And there's a lot of goings around, because Jem is very, very sick in this book. There's a lot of going around. Is he gonna make it? He's very ill a lot of this book, and he's always in a bed because he only has so little left to live. And Mortimain, or aka the Magister, has obtained all of the linphene, which is the drug that keeps Jem living, basically. It's a demonic drug that he was addicted to, which we found out about that in Clockwork Angel. And basically it basically puts everybody in a frenzy, because the drug is being bought up. There's no more of it. So once he has used all that he has of it, it's gone. You can't get any more. And without that drug, he's gonna die. And the tears happen in this book very quickly, because Jem is a character I've followed since the first of the series. He's a character that I've grown to love more and more and more with each book. And it's very heartbreaking, because if he dies, that's just horrible, because Tessa and Jem are in a way together, and it's heartbreaking because she promised him a life, even if it's a short one, and it's just, the feels in this book are just incredible. But besides that, Will goes off on a kind of crusade, because Tessa is kidnapped by Mrs. Dark, who is the Dark sister that we met in Clockwork Angel. She's been kidnapped by her to bring Tessa to the Magister because the Magister wants her for some dark purpose, which we do, in fact, discover in this book, which I won't say what that is because, again, I don't want to spoil any big spoilers for the book. But when I found that out, I had to put the book down and just go, oh my gosh, this is crazy. It was really shocking to find out what she was. We do find out like verbatim what Tessa is, how her creation came to be, who her parents are, how that all came together. It was really crazy. We learn a lot more about the Stockweather family, that Tessa is in fact worthy of that last name in this book. And it's just crazy. This whole book, so much happens in such a timely novel. This book was balls to the walls crazy. I kind of got that line from Books with Court, but it really was balls to the walls crazy. There was something going on 95% of the time, and it was just a awesome ride. Again, I won't say much more of this book because this is the last in the series, as well as this is the fan favorite book of the trilogy, and I really enjoyed this book. It was so good. It was so worth reading. The emotions I felt, I cried more in this book than I did even reading The Fault in Our Stars, and I cried a lot during that book. This, especially towards like the last several chapters, the waterworks were everywhere. It was really hard to put this down, but it was such a good book, and I enjoyed it so much. I'm really thankful that I got the privilege to read this series. Will I reread the series? Definitely, most definitely. I think I'll pick it up again maybe in a year or two, and I'll reread the series again because they're so good books. I don't reread books very much, but I will definitely be rereading this series. It is definitely worthy of being reread. It was such an amazing ride. But that's my review of the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare, and this is what they look like all together. They look really pretty. But yeah, that's her Infernal Devices series. Really thick books, as you guys can probably tell, but they were a great ride. I enjoyed reading these books. I still have yet to read City of Heavenly Fire, for the simple fact that I do not have the money to buy it, but as soon as I have that book in my possession, I will be reading it and getting a review up for you of that. But I hope you enjoyed my series review over the Infernal Devices. I hope that you guys felt the same way about the epilogue of Clockwork Princess as I did. I thought it was amazing. Other people were disappointed in it, but I think that was the best way she could have ended it. But I really enjoyed this series. I hope you guys thought that as well. What did you guys think of this series as a whole? Post your comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And thank you for watching my video. It means a lot to me that you guys watch mine. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video of whatever I make. Bye.